Hello, welcome back. In the last video, we learned about that we need to define performance acceptance criteria, and this is some example of quantification of the expectation, that how to define how much it should be passed, and system throughput, concurrency, and resource requirement. So in this video, what we're going to do, we are going to take a case study, and in the case study for us is Acme Electronics migration plan. So Acme Electronics is a 20 years old company, and they have 30,000 active users who are using their Oracle 11i ERP system. So these 30,000 users are the employee of this Acme Electronics company, and their ERP system is based on Oracle 11i. And this diagram shows you a deployment of that. We have two databases, and those two databases are connected by a Cisco Catalyst switch, Apache web server, and Oracle Forms, and Oracle Oracle application server is connected to the Cisco router, and then users can access through this router to the system. Alright, so this is a schematic diagram of that. Acme Electronics wants to migrate this from this system to a new system, which is something going to look like this. They are going to use Oracle Fusion Apps, which is the latest version of Oracle ERP, and they want to upgrade their databases to Oracle Hexadata system. So this is how the schematic representation of the new deployment. So this is your Oracle database, and then all those Fusion Apps is running on Oracle WebLogic server, and also they have some identity and access management components are there. So essentially, if this is the new system, and this was the old system. As you see, in the new system there are a couple of new components being added, so therefore a little bit more complicated than the old system. So here, and you as a performance engineer, you are given the task of ensuring that this migration is smooth. Okay, so before you start the actual testing, what you should set a goal. What is the exit criteria? How do you exit from this project? And that is what we call performance acceptance or exit criteria. Okay, so some of those realistic goals are that one of these things, that at peak load the response time must not exceed 5 seconds. Okay, that means whenever user are using at the peak time, like assuming that when all these 30,000 users are logged in, that time what we are saying is that the response time should not be more than 5 seconds. Another criteria may be, because this is a ERP system, so their manufacturing unit and their supply chain, all those things runs here. Alright, so basically another criteria would be that the billing system, okay, so billing system should process 2000 accounts in 2-hour window. So this is an example of setting the throughput. So the billing system should process more than 2000 accounts in 2-hour window. And another thing that a little bit of qualitative is that ensure that whenever you are moving to the new system, the performance of the new system should be better than the old system. Okay, so the performance of the new system should be no slower than old system. So essentially, before you even start testing, you have some idea about how this old system works. Okay, and then when you are putting so much money and so much efforts to move it to the new system, then I think you should expect that the new system should be better, more functionality, and also should be more performing. And also one more acceptance criteria sometimes if they put is that determine what kind of customization and tuning that is required to different system. So customization and tuning suggestions. Okay, another criteria would be that, if you see, these are the node, right? This is where the WebLogic server is running, and this is where the database server is running, and this is where the internet directory server is running, access manager server is running, and so on. So essentially there are, let's say, in this system we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then there are, let's say, 4 database nodes. So there are 11 nodes are running, and we can give one condition: any time during the peak load or whatever, during the peak load or the batch processing, whatever time, always the system CPU should be less than 75 percentage. Okay, so that is another criteria. So essentially I have summarized everything here. So this is the response time, this is the throughput, this is a comparison that our new system should not be regressing, and this is the tuning information, and this is the resource utilization. So essentially in this case, in this Acme Electronics case, in this case probably this is your performance criteria. So essentially you need to come up, before you proceed in this project, you need to come up when we should exit. Okay, when should we achieve our goals, and again this thing should be really realistic. Otherwise don't think that a ERP system should give you sub millisecond response time, because they do a lot of computations and so on. Okay, so therefore those kind of expectations also not realistic. So therefore this is how you come up with this kind of document where you nail down all those criteria, so that you can exit the project. So I hope you like this video, and thank you very much, and see you in next video.